welcome Jessica Remter.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Jessica is going to be one of our 32 authors that will be in attendance at our spring book bash that's on April 25th in downtown Greer, South Carolina at the Randall House. We are going to have, and I'm going to cheat and look, we're going to have about 130 book titles and around 55 genres and authors from 8 different states. So, Jessica, please share with us what books you'll be bringing with you.
Okay, so I'll be bringing kind of a bit of a variety, I guess. I have one children's book that I wrote. It's called Henry Heads to the Finish Line. That was the first book I ever self-published, and from there on, I took several years off writing. Well, I still wrote, but I didn't publish anything. And then I focused more on poetry.
Hmm.
And my poetry collections are largely inspired by my journey through like my mental health and healing from things.
Hmm.
So they're focused largely on that.
Do you have book covers to share with us?
Yes. So I have this one, "Unalive is not a word,"
Hmm.
which, as you can probably guess from the title, is about um unaliving. It's basically giving people hope that there is a better times ahead and to not do anything drastic. And
Hmm.
I wrote it during a time when I was struggling a lot and I needed hope for myself. So I'm giving hope to myself and to other people through my poetry collection. Um, and my stack of books is not in chronological order of what I published
That's
them, so
okay.
they're jumping back and forth.
That's
um,
okay.
this one, "Through the Shimmering Storm," is my latest published book.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Um, so it's inspired mainly by finding your way home. I dedicated it to my husband, as kind of like he's my way home, like he's my home. Um, and like even through struggles and past traumas, like you're healing together and you just find a home in each other. So that was my latest book. Um, the first poetry book that I published when I was publishing again is called "Glitter in My Orange Juice." Um,
Love the
which is kind
title.
of a backstory. It's about actually healing from domestic violence,
Hmm.
so it's a really heavy topic, and that's based on personal experience. And the person that it's not inspired by, but it's about healing from it. But the glitter in
Hmm.
my orange juice is something that the person that not is about, but kind of about, would say that he was, like, it's in a special thing, like, "Oh, I'm the glitter in your orange juice." So,
Hmm.
like, making it seem like, "Oh, that's special," you know?
Hmm.
But really, I turn it into something more like, "Well, I never want glitter in my orange juice," and then I kind of, um, take the imagery of glitter and, like, sparkling and weave it throughout the book, as in, like, I'm starting to sparkle for myself and, like, healing from the whole experience.
Hmm.
And then I actually wrote a sequel to the book, called "Sparkling Embers,"
Ooh.
which is just further along the healing journey and then, like, realizing, like, "Hey, I'm good as I am." You know, like, I'm better off without them, and I've become my own person, and I've healed from it. So it's a really heavy topic between those 2 books, but, something that needs to be talked about,
Hmm.
definitely. Same as with "Unalive is not a word," it's a really heavy topic, but something that needs to be addressed, and, um, yeah.
So, what inspired you to actually go and publish the books? Because those sound, all of it sounds very, very personal. So, what inspired you to actually publish them?
Yes, so they're all really personal because they're from my experiences, but what inspired me to publish them is that I've always been very open about my mental health journey, just as a way to, like, raise awareness about mental health because it took me a long time to recognize that yes, I have a mental illness, and yes, I need help, and then, yes, I still struggle with those, but then I can take my experiences and my journeys and my words that I write for myself and share them with other people to give them hope, to let them know they're not alone in what they're going through. And like I've been to book events and such, and people would pick up my books and flip through them. And like at one event, I had a lady start crying because she's like, "I've been feeling like this for the past month," and I
Oh,
ended up just giving her the book because she just shared her whole story with me. And I'm
oh.
like I'm not, I don't publish my books for the money, is what I always say. I
Mhm.
publish them to get the words out there to impact people in a positive way and
That
to
is
make connection.
awesome. So what else do you have that you're currently writing that you would be publishing next?
So currently I'm writing. It's very in the early stages. I started writing it a couple weeks ago. It's another poetry collection. That's kind of where I found my home. But it's
Hey,
my counselor actually sent me a song, and now that I've said that, I can't remember what the song title is. But
that's
it's a
okay.
song about basically like a messenger comes to you that's like a ghost of your past self, and it's telling
Mhm,
you that um you're not who you used to be, you're just a shell of what you used to be.
mhm.
And she sent me the song because during one of our sessions, I was oh, excuse me. I was explaining to her that like I felt like I wasn't who I am anymore, and like I've kind of lost who I am. And she
Mhm.
sent it to me late one evening and was like, "Sorry for the late message, but this reminded me of our session." And when I listened to it, it just kind of inspired a whole poetry collection of like a former self of me, like a younger version of me coming to me and letting me know, like, "Hey, you're not okay. Like, you're just a shell of what you used to be." And then kind of going with the younger version of myself and like working on healing the younger version of me and my like present version.
Wow. You really tackle some deep subjects.
Yeah, I
And,
do.
and you and you do it in so are all of your books poetry?
So, those how many are those? Those four are. The children's book is not a poetry book. It's actually like a little short story. And
Okay.
then, I did not mention these two books before. Well, one is really just a journal that I wrote
Mhm.
because I wanted a paperback version of it, and I got tired of rewriting it all the time. But I called it a brain dump journal, and it's just like
Okay.
something to get your thoughts out on. But then I actually wrote like a workbook, um,
Mhm.
called An Overwhelming World. And,
Ah, yeah.
it has like prompts and different techniques, coping strategies that you can work through to deal with overwhelm and like anxiety and such to help you practice those skills.
Well, and in this day and age, there is so much going on in the world, not just the US, but all around the globe. And yeah, it's a heavy topic, but is definitely one that we need to talk about. We need to have those resources. And you having a workbook where people can actually work through that, that is so important. So you said you also wrote a children's book. Do you have that one to show us that cover?
Yes, I do. So this is a children's book.
Oh, I love it. That is so cute.
So I wrote that one back in, I think it was 2016.
Mhm.
And it's about basically Henry the giraffe, and he thinks he's the fastest animal in the world. And then he starts racing other animals and realizes he's not the fastest.
Uh-oh.
And he starts getting upset over it, but then he realizes, like, you know what? It's okay because I'm perfect just the way I am. So
Oh.
there's that. And I have a couple more children's stories that I've written, but I haven't
Mhm.
been able to illustrate them myself. This book, a former art teacher of mine illustrated.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I couldn't get the image how I wanted it. So I'm like, here, you do it. But I haven't found anybody to illustrate my other stories, and I've been trying to do it myself, but I can't get the pictures the way I want them to.
Ah. Yeah, illustrating pictures is not an easy thing.
No.
That can take up most of your time trying to find just that right picture, and of course, our long guys go. I love it. Um, So, do you have any more children's books that you have that you're planning to publish?
So I do. The titles are kind of works in progress, but one
Mhm.
I wrote for my daughter who doesn't like to brush her teeth. So
Ah,
and she loves unicorns. So I wrote a story about Sparkles the unicorn and how she learns to love brushing her teeth. And it has like the tooth fairy in it and different aspects of like making brushing teeth magical basically.
that
So
sounds like fun.
yes. And then there's another story I wrote when I first met. So my daughter is technically my stepdaughter. She's my
Okay.
husband's daughter. So when I first met her, we went through a whole phase of her wanting to call me mom, but it was too early. And
Mm,
um just that transition to that. But I wrote a story right at the beginning when I met her about a monster not having a mom and only having a dad, but
mm.
then finding the mother figures and other figures in her life, like with a teacher, a friend, stuff like that. And then like realizing it's okay to only have a dad because, you know, it's still a family. So I wrote a story about that right at the beginning when I met them. But that one's not illustrated yet either. So
So what a so you've got poetry and you've got adult books and you've got children's books. You've got some of the children's books are in progress because
yes.
of illustrations. Totally understand that. What adult books do you have coming down the pike?
Like I mentioned before, the poetry collection about the healing with a younger version of yourself and your present version. I've also been kind of toying with the idea of writing a poetry book about anger and
Mm.
dealing with that emotion.
Mhm.
So that I only have a few poems for that one at the moment, but that's a really tough subject to write on. I feel like.
It
Um,
can be.
Um, but those are the two poetry collections I'm currently working on. Well, technically, there's one more that I've been working on for quite a while. It's called Becoming Mom. And I
Oh.
started writing it right at the beginning when she started transitioning from calling me Jess to calling me mom and like going back and forth between the two.
Mhm.
And just my feelings like about becoming more of a mother figure to her
Mhm.
and like becoming a part of the family and just that transition. And it's like in it I share like my doubts, like am I gonna be like a good mom to her, and like am I gonna be like okay to be a part of the family with my mental health struggles, because I know it's not
Mm.
always going to be perfect. So it's like sharing some of those thoughts, but then also sharing like the joy of the transition of becoming mom.
Ah. Just
What was that?
okay. Long guy right outside window.
Uh,
And he comes up right because I'm on ground level, he comes up
okay,
right next to the window. So,
gotcha.
it's like, "Come on. Okay, work faster." Um, so what do you do aside from writing? Because you do a lot of writing, you do poetry, children's books, adult. What do you do outside of writing?
Outside of writing, I do a lot of crafting. I like to crochet and sew and paint. I've also really gotten into like junk journaling and like collaging,
Mm.
and I do a lot of that with my daughter as well. And so she really enjoys crafting as well. And we all like to go hiking. So once the weather warms up, that will be happening more. We like to go chase
Getting there.
waterfalls.
It will get there. I promise. We will have nice warm weather. We will have
Yeah.
warm weather for April. That's the one thing I love about having an end of April event. Even in the South, you still get those nice warm days, but
Hmm.
not too warm. It's not
Yeah.
like having a summer event where it's going to get into the upper 90s.
Yeah.
Um, Well, that is awesome. And I have so enjoyed getting to know you and your writing. And I can't wait to meet you in person. It's going to be a fun time for all of us. And I really encourage people to come out and check out everything that Jessica has on her table. She tackles some really heavy subject, but it's going to be a good time. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I will see you in April.
Yes.